fast and die young is what they told us. The way that they
I'm sorry, you guys. I didn't see that I didn't see that my mute was still on. So, hello, I'm Artisan MC and not muted anymore. Um, I've just come from seeing Firestarter. You can hear me now because I just turned off the mute. You didn't say shit earlier. You're a little late. Um, just come from seeing Firestarter, and yeah, I got exactly what I was looking for in this movie initially, which was people getting burnt up. I did get people getting burnt up, which is what I was looking for in this movie. Um, what I was saying before I was muted was that Firestarter was one of those things I got into when I was young, when I was a young kid, and I really loved the movie by Stephen King. One of the other movies that I love from Stephen King, and it put Drew Barrymore in my heart with some fondness because of her role as playing Charlie McGee in that movie. Now, some things are changed in this movie, and I'm not sure where the changes come from. If it's just truly a change because they're making a new movie and they're making the remake, or is it changed because it comes from the book? Oh, damn, she got ass. It's summertime, spring. Um, I'm not sure which one it is because Firestarter was one of those things that I got to when I was younger. It was before I started reading the book for every thing that I saw that was a book that was made from a book. I went back and read the book. Never read the story of Firestarter, so I'm not sure if the things that change were from the novel or if they're just completely, made up and threw in there. Be that as it may, um, I still like the original better. The original is better to me. And this one just felt like there was something missing. There was a little bit of there's no fire for the smoke. Put it that way. There's no fire for the smoke. Arya's in here, and I know Arya really wants to see this movie, and I don't want to completely ruin it for her. But yeah, so Firestarter is a story of a family of Andy, his wife, I'm forgetting her name, and his daughter, Charlie. Andy and his wife, when they were college students, signed up for a medical program, right? It's a test program. They were test subjects. And half of the group was going to be given a placebo, and the other half is going to be given this FDA trial, you know, serum, right? Serum is lot 6. What ends up happening to them is that lot 6 ends up giving people some kind of mental powers, and it's different for every person. What it does to them is they go crazy. Like, some people rip out their eyes right off the bat, right? When the powers start developing, which for me is like par for the course and kind of out of Gen 13, where people was ripping their eyes out because they had all these mental abilities. Now, the idea of people having developing mental powers and stuff like that has always been interesting to me, just like it's always been interesting to Stephen King, right? um, this movie being produced by Bloomhouse means there's going to be some gore and some scares in it. Okay, just get it off the bat, right? Now, Andy McGee and his wife develop powers, but they eventually leave this program. They run away. And in the time that they run away, they have a child. This child is Charlie. And what you see in this movie is that even from a baby, Charlie had these pyrokinetic powers. If you don't know what pyrokinetics means, it means to be able to move fire with the power of your mind, right? She can project fire and create flame. Now, having a baby have a tantrum when it can set shit on fire seems like an absolute nightmare to me. But it's supposed to be a horror movie, so that kind of works. Um, Once this young girl gets, a little older, I'm guessing about 8 or so, or 10 or 12, um, her powers start to grow, in a sense. And with her powers starting to grow, she starts to lose control of it. Now, this is the part that I find objectionable about the movie at a part. It comes to a scene that you've seen in the trailers where she's at school and she kind of loses control in the bathroom of the school and, blows a door off his hinge. Excuse me. And the parents get called in. Excuse me. The parents get called in to talk about it with the principal and the teacher. And then later the parents are at home talking about it. And they end up breaking down to the same, what you would assume is the common trope discussion. We need to teach her how to use her powers, with Zac Efron playing the role of Andy McGee, her Charlie's father, saying no, she just needs to stuff her powers down and not use them. Now, to me, this seems dumb as fuck, because as soon as I heard that, I started thinking fucking Frozen. Like, no, just hide your powers away, Elsa. Like, y'all need a mutant on this movie. Y'all need Professor Xavier in this movie. Like, goddamn. I don't see how that works. It's like, no, you just needs to hide it. Dude, that's Kevin Costner from Man of Steel. That's the dude in the father in Frozen. That's all these tropes that keep coming out with these movies, is that the kids are told to suppress their powers and hide them away, and it's always their dad telling them to do the shit. Like, come on, man, that doesn't work. It's like telling the kid not to have sex. When does that ever work for anybody, really? I'm already yawning, trying to stay up to see this eclipse tonight. I didn't mind the spoilers. Okay, I wanted to see the eclipse tonight too, but I didn't think it was going to be showing on this side of the coast very much. It's what, 9:35? Yeah, I got to check that out because I love eclipses. See my intro. I love an eclipse. Anyway, once this little girl has this explosive growth in her powers, she ends up getting clued in by her mother and father about why they can't have cell phones and computers and stuff like that. And basically, they've been on the run for years, running from the organization or the group that created them, DS1, the shop, and they're looking for her, the little girl. By having this heat bloom, she gets on their radar. Now, why they would be looking at just a random swat of, I guess, the country looking for a high heat signatures is a wonder to me, but it fucking happens. Okay. All things done to move the plot along. And this is the part where some of the shit gets initially I want to say stupid, but it's actually just convenient. And that's what it is. Some of this stuff is just convenient in this movie to move it along to get to the point where this little girl is burning motherfuckers up. Right. The movie plays out pretty much the same way the original Firestarter plays out with just some minor changes. Just some minor changes. One of the changes is that you get the introduction of the character Rainbird, played by I don't know who this guy is. And like I said, I just left the movie, so I'm not thinking about his damn name at all. But it turns out that Rainbird doesn't still work for the shop. He was retired. He's like some wet works dude they used to have on call, and they cut him loose and retired him. So he's just being a janitor, sweeping floors and stuff like that. But he is really an assassin. Now, what you find out through this is that beyond that, Rainbird has powers himself. Boo! What up, Charles? Rainbird has his own powers. And his powers is to go into people's minds and read their minds. You can see what they were thinking and project thoughts. Which to me is a cool addition to the character. It would make him better at actually subverting people, but that's not what he does in this shit. What he actually does is just kill a bunch of people randomly for no reason, which gets to the part that I'm finding the most objectionable about this movie is that once again in modern cinema fashion, goddamn almost every fucking ridiculous death is black folks, is black men. Black men get killed this motherfucker wholesale for no reason at all. Shot in the head, burnt up. Look, if you a brown male in this movie, you need to run. Your ass is getting it. I mean, it doesn't take much to figure out who's about to die in every fucking scene. And it's always black men, black or brown men. And that shit bothers the fuck out of me. Now I'm actually going to rant and rave a little bit. That's the part that was bothering me. Now, in typical feminist fashion for today's era, women get killed in this shit too. But just like you saw in Doctor Strange, women get the dignity of dying off camera. You don't see one woman get killed on camera. Not one. But guys, black dudes, oh, you can see their brains get blown out and burnt the fuck alive. And I'm like, well, what the fuck? Why is it just us getting it? Some stuff in here is non-consistent with the original movie, and some of it doesn't make any sense. Like the behavior of the character of Irv, he has his own farm, and he actually picks up Charlie and Andy while they're on the run. When the shop kind of catches up to them and they leave their house and go off on the run, he kind of takes them to their house or his house so he can get them a meal and some stuff and give them a ride. And the whole time, he's a known actor. I'm not remembering his name, but he was in Dune as the Mentat, light-skinned brother, right? He keeps having these flashes of doing ridiculous shit. And it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. It's like he's a schizophrenic or something. Every couple of minutes he cool with her, and the next minute what the fuck you doing? Why you doing that? It doesn't make any goddamn sense. I'm like, dude, I'm hating this fucking character right now. I'm hating this character, which from the original movie, that character was actually a help to them. He wasn't, acting shady with them or no shit like that. He was just a cool old dude. Now, fucking, like I said, the movie pretty much plays out the same way as the original with minor changes. Another minor change is the main antagonist, if you could say, what up, Ray, is a black woman played by Gloria something or other. I can't remember her name. It's a black chick. She used to be on ER, I believe. And she looks kind of weird in this because I think she's had some facial work. Like her eyes bug out like one of them is stuck. She got these big ass titties like she had a boob job later in life. And she kind of looking like melted chocolate ice cream in the face, which is fucking me up, right? Be that as it may, her role as Captain Hollister is to try to bring Andy McGee and Charlie in because they want her because they can help her and they can teach her how to use her powers and all that shit. Yeah, get the fuck out of here. Now, once the shop once again catches up to them, you get the death of a bunch of black men for no fucking reason at all. Yeah, she got some tickle bitties. She does. She has some tickle bitties. I don't know, Ari. I don't know what the hell she's supposed to be. Is she supposed to be the new Pam Grier or something like that? Like, where did she get those? I don't ever remember her having those. Like, Jesus. Like, why wait till you old to have big ass titties? That don't even make no sense. But regardless of that, a bunch of brothers get killed, and you get to see again Andy McKean use his powers. Now, I will say this about the Blumhouse version of him using his powers, right? How they depicted him using his powers in the original movie, David Keith, was that whenever Andy McKean used his powers, he would have a nosebleed, right? He'd have a nosebleed, have to wipe his head. And his power was basically telepathy, to push or influence a person to do something that he wanted them to do by suggestion, right? Okay, that's all well and good. In this movie, his nose doesn't bleed when he does it. What actually happens is his eyes actually turn red and he starts bleeding out of his fucking eyes because this is a Blumhouse horror movie, so it got to have that, ridiculous element to it. Okay, I like that addition. That's something different. You haven't seen that before. I guess a bloody nose would be too, contrite, or not contrite, but too commonplace. You gotta mix it up, make it look a little jazzy for the new millennium. Okay, fine. His eyes bleed, but his trigger for how he uses it is him cracking his neck. After the second time, it just looks stupid. It just looks stupid to me, and it probably shouldn't because David Keith in the original movie, he had to grab his head every time, put his hands on his head and shit, so you knew he was using his ability. Basically, it's just an acting thing to show that you're using the power, right? Okay, I get it. But the neck cracking, that was stupid. That was done. I was done with that after the second. Not that Zac Efron wasn't doing a decent job showing some emotion, but his character was inconsistent through the movie. One moment he don't want her to use her powers. The next moment he all mad at her. The moment after that, he's actually really loving. And then he wants her to actually practice and use her abilities. I'm like, motherfucker, make up your goddamn mind. You seem like the most ineffectual fucking dude sometimes. And that's might be in the same scene. It's like, didn't you, wait a minute, I thought you were against her doing this shit. Now you are? Like, oh, what the fuck? So at that point where Rainbird in the shop catches up to him, Andy gets captured, taken back to the shop, and they use him to lure Charlie to them. Now, mind you, this is a little girl, maybe 10. I don't know how close they're supposed to be to where these people are. But I will tell you, this little bitch jumps on a bicycle like it's fucking Stranger Things and rides to their secret base. I'm like, how the fuck does a little girl ride with a sandwich and some new clothes all the way to their secret base and they don't see her coming? Like I said, just moving the story along. It don't make no fucking sense, but it's just done to move the story along. You got to get them back together. And here you are at the end of the fucking movie. She spent, I guess, an hour or two sitting in the forest practicing her abilities without burning the shit down. It's like, all right, all well and good. I'm watching the movie. I'm here with it, right? But by the time you get to the climax, you get what you came there for. You want to see Charlie burning motherfuckers up at the shop because the shop is a problem. But here's one of the things that bothered me. At one point in the movie, Zac Efron's character, Andy McGee, makes his daughter promise not to hurt anybody with her powers, right? But this is after they're on the run and they stop because their car dies or some shit, and she's just out there fucking around and sees this stray cat, and the stray cat scratches her and she burns the fucking cat, right? But she doesn't kill the cat. And then Andy McGee comes up and tells her she has to put the cat out of her misery or out of its misery. She has to kill it. So he tells her and encourages her to kill the cat, to use her powers again to kill this fucking cat. But then right after that tells her he doesn't want her to hurt people. I'm like, motherfucker, that you are giving some really inconsistent fucking life lessons here, Pops. Like, what else is she gonna be able to do? She already burned her mama up. You wasn't telling her to do that then, but after you had her kill a cat, now you're gonna tell her not to use her powers? Just all of a sudden to turn around at the end of the movie and tell her, yeah, kill all these motherfuckers, Charlie, and I'm going to use my ability on you to make you do it. Like, what? I don't think she'd need to do that. She had more than enough reason to kill them motherfuckers. But like I said, I showed up to see people get burnt up. I got what I wanted, but it was not really satisfying in the sense. It almost seemed too rushed or something. Like, okay, we got a formula, we'll get it on and get it done, and that'll be it. All right. They did it, but what the hell? Yeah, they killed a cat. Don't worry, it only got partly killed. It only got partly burned on screen. You don't get to see her kill it the rest of the way on screen. Like, I don't know why they shied away from that shit. You saw it get half burnt the fuck up. So you can't see her kill it? I mean, what the fuck? But anyway, the point that I'm making on that is that one of the lessons that her father tells her is that when you hurt somebody, it hurts more than just them. It hurts the people around them, right? So that's why he wants her to promise not to use her powers on people. Okay, don't hurt people with your powers. Got it. But when she goes to rescue her dad, there's a moment where you get to meet this guy who just works, a researcher who just works at this base. And she jumps in his fucking car after he was just on the phone talking to his wife about her being in her third trimester and about to have a baby and all this shit. He jumped in the car telling her he loves her and he's on his way home. And this little girl's in the back of his car questioning him, getting information out of him. and eventually just kills his ass in his car. Partly kills him. She burns his ass up. He ain't dead yet. And so then she has to go in again with some more flame and put fire on that bitch and actually kill him. Repeating what her father told her, don't hurt people, but you got to put him out of his misery, Charlie. You got to put him out of his misery. But okay, she kills this dude, but there is no understanding for her that this is what just happened. You just killed a man who was going home to his family, and he had nothing to do with what was going on with you. Nothing. He knew who you were, but he wasn't out there trying to grab you. He was going home. He could have just been gone. You could have just let his ass go. You about to kill all these people anyway. Fuck them. That was stupid. That was dumb as fuck to me. It's like, you're not even listening to your dad, dude. To all of a sudden get to the end, and then dad is telling you or making you kill people. What he didn't know is you don't need to convince her and push her to kill anybody. She just did it 10 minutes ago. Pointless. Everyone gets partially killed except the black. Yeah, the black men don't get partially killed at all. You get motherfucking dome shots. That's what the fuck you get. Straight up dome shots, not doing nothing to nobody. Your fucking head blown off on camera. I'm like, get the fuck out of here, dude. That shit was annoying the fuck out of me. I told y'all before. I can't stand every time there needs to be somebody killed in a graphic fucking way, it's either a male or a black male specific. Fuck you. What's wrong with all these white boys in Hollywood? They can't keep getting killed? What the fuck? Like this whole movie was filled with fucking brown people, and every time you see one of them, you know they about to fucking die. I'm like, what kind of bizarre world shit is this? I remember seeing the original. She killed a shitload of white folks. White men in suits and everything. What the fuck? I don't need that's not representation for me. A bunch of black dudes died. And some of these dudes is cops. Okay, so you don't give a fuck about the black or the blue. But the one black woman in the shit, or the second black woman in the shit, who's actually the main antagonist, she gets to die off screen. You don't even see her die, even though she gets burnt the fuck alive. You don't get to see none of that. You just get to look in the little girl's eyes and then pan back, and it's a fucking pyre of bodies. Oh, it must have been her. If you don't get the fuck out of here with that shit, that's like that Captain Carter getting cut in half. I can see Black Bolt's head explode, Reed Richard get turned into fucking silly string, but I can't see this bitch get cut in half with her shield. Get the fuck out of here. Steve would have caught that shit. It's just dumb, dude. It's just dumb. So, I don't know. I'm not saying that the movie was shit, but as pissed off as I am thinking about the black folks that got killed, I could say it was shit just for that. Because I didn't appreciate that shit at all. As a black man sitting in the audience watching this shit, like every nigga that show up in here has just got to get killed, right? All these goddamn white boys, and only the black dudes is the ones getting killed up. Stupid. Sometimes you got to make the hard decisions and becoming superhero. Get the fuck out of here. She prevented toxic man. There wasn't no toxic masculinity for none of them fucking dudes. None of them dudes was actually doing shit to her. Not a goddamn thing. Hadn't done nothing. And she wasn't even the one who killed him. It's the Rainbird dude killing up all these other people that ain't got nothing to do with shit. With nothing. It wasn't doing nothing to him. Nothing. He just killed him. Like, for what? That's just stupid. It's just fucking stupid. So you get to the end of the movie, which you saw in the trailers, and here she is killing up all these people in the shop that's coming against her. And of course, there's one woman who tries to escape, to sneak by her and escape after she had killed all these dudes up. Oh no, I'm Gail or something. No, don't do it. And of course, she gets the same shit. You just watched her to make how her powers work in this one is a little different. Okay. Her powers are the combination of her parents' powers. Both Andy and his wife had powers. The mother was telekinetic, Andy was telepathic, right? And in this movie, Charlie can do both. That basically her telekinetic, her, put it this way, her pyrokinetic powers is tied to the telekinetics. A telekinetic can move stuff with their mind, but you can also, if you can move stuff with your mind and you understand what you're doing, you can agitate molecules to the point where they catch fire. Spontaneous combustion, pyrokinetics, right? That's what she can do. So she has the telekinetics to move stuff, and she has her father's ability to get into people's mind and push them to do stuff as well. Okay, she has both, and I guess when they're combined, you get the pyrokinetics. Okay, she's a force to be reckoned with. Now, why we just have to watch her burn people, burn men, use telekinetics to make men turn their guns on each other and shoot each other in the fucking head, more black dudes, gets to this one lone woman out there begging for her life. She dies off screen. You turn away, then you turn back, and it's just a spot. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. Why can't women die in this shit too? What the fuck? This doesn't even make any sense now. I mean, the characters do die, but you don't get to see no gruesome death like you seeing it with these men. What kind of feminist bullshit is this? That's the part that's getting me. So did I like the movie? I like the original more. I do. I just came out of the movie like I saw it, and that was it. It was over. But I wasn't hating it, but I wasn't overly liking it either. It's just like, okay, like I said, I saw what I expected to see. I wanted to see somebody get burnt up. I saw motherfuckers getting burnt up. But I saw a lot of ancillary death for no fucking reason at all by somebody who didn't need to be killing them to begin with. Rainbird is just in there. There's no development for his fucking character. He just there to be the Native American killing machine that's just killing people for no fucking reason just because, oh, well, they're hindering his progress in some kind of way, I guess. But you'll watch it. You'll see it, Arya. Half of the motherfuckers he killed didn't even know his ass was there. That's it. He just showing up behind the scenes, behind motherfuckers. Bang, bang. Well, what the fuck was that for? And after all of that shit, the motherfucker don't die. He don't die. He don't get killed. He wants to be killed. He doesn't get killed. He killed her mama and she lets him live. After she just burnt up her fucking daddy. That don't make no goddamn sense. None whatsoever. That makes no sense at all. But when it ends, you understand why it makes sense. Oh, they need a fucking sequel, and I guess a little white girl needs a protector now, doesn't she? Fucking hell, dude. It was just whatever. It was just a movie. It was just a movie. I escaped for, I don't know, an hour, 2 hours, whatever the fuck. Bloomhouse do a good job of making movies on the cheap really quickly, and I can see why. But don't worry, B. So we say you. I'm late. It's okay. You ain't late. Too late to the party. If y'all think White Girl bad, wait till Rainbow Girl get her movie. I don't know what Rainbow Girl you talking about, BMT. Rainbow Ho Edition. So you watch X Feminist, the prequel. She's not in the X universe. Yeah, she's not in the X universe. This is a Stephen King character. But seeing how it's a Stephen King character and where or when it was the original story was written, you can see where they got the idea for the Phoenix from, or the Dark Phoenix from. You can. You can see where that idea came from. So was it not a Dark Phoenix, Arya? No, it wasn't a Dark Phoenix. It was just stupid in parts. But I wasn't going in there with any high expectations that I needed to be grabbed and whatever. I just know it wasn't as good as the original. The original, the '84 one. I mean, not '84, but the '80s one was good. It seemed like it had a lot more story going on with it, with the characters, with the main characters of Charlie and Andy, Rainbird, and the people running the shop. You understood more about what the fuck was going on at the shop and the people involved with it than you did in this. It's just a goddamn building. This could have been a fucking made for TV movie or some shit or somebody's series. Because at this point, Firestarter 2 Rekindled that the Sci-Fi Channel did probably beat it out. Probably beat it out. I'm just saying. How many stars out of 5, Blackfoot? 5 being the best or the worst? You know how I am. You gotta clarify that shit first. 1 out of 5. 5 being the best or the worst? I don't think Stephen King is jumping on that LGBTQ shit. I don't think he's jumping on that bandwagon. He not playing shit. But they can use Stephen King shit for that because if you know Stephen King makes a lot of female protagonists. Put it that way. Because in the beginning of this movie, watching it, I was getting a really strong Carrie vibe, right? And they already remade Carrie and fucked that up. But I like Carrie. I like Charlie McGee. Both of these are female characters who have some kind of mental abilities, pyrokinetics and telekinetics, right? Okay, all well and good. They tortured and they go through some shit. They get bullied and talked to real fucking crazy. And they end up snapping the fuck off. Like women do, but it fits in perfect context with seeing Doctor Strange 2 and everybody, oh, they totally ruined Wanda's character. I said, no, that's a grown bitch going off, nigga. What the fuck? You ain't never dealt with a female before? That's common. They just thankfully they just don't have powers like that. You end up sucking your own dick. You know, so while it wasn't attached to you. So it's not that far removed and beyond the pale for me to pay attention to. It's not that big of a deal. But I don't see them going with turning any of Stephen King's stuff into some alphabet banner stuff. I don't think it would work. It wouldn't work. Blackfoot said 5 being the best. Ugh, that makes like a 3.5 to middle road, doesn't it? 2.5 to a 3. Put it that way. 2.5 to a 3. With the worst movie being Dark. Fuck. If I say Dark Phoenix, I gotta drop it lower. 2.5 to a 3. You can watch it. You'll spend your time watching it. You'll see some stuff you might think is cool, and then you'll leave the movie and you'll go on with your day. You'll probably go on and think, well, what's on television when I get home? What can I watch on TV when I get home? Like you will feel like you ate but feel unfulfilled, like you had a fucking salad when you wanted a steak. I wanted a steak. Well, it's good that I had that salad. That was healthy. I still need to get something to eat. Carrie made me look at redhead and church girls different, and damn, Langoliers made me afraid of planes for weeks. Yeah, see, that Stephen King shit is always on some other stuff. He'll make you think about some shit. I can probably credit Stephen King with people not liking clowns. Straight up, it fucked me up. It was fucked up when I saw it as a 80 something, as a not even a pre-adolescent boy. Oh, it was fucked up. We was watching that shit, as a TV movie event and coming back to school the next night. Dude, did you see it? You ain't supposed to be watching that shit. You ain't supposed to be up. Some fucked up shit happened. It was killing kids. You ain't supposed to watch that. No, it fucked me up. Langoliers was something different too. I mean, don't waste fucking time. Carrie fucked me up too. It's like, damn, these religious people is fucked up. And at that time, I was my cousins that I was staying with was really into Christianity. So I'm learning Christianity at that point. So we watching Carrie and Exorcist and shit. All this stuff is way too real right now. It's way too real. Firestarter at least was fun. Like, look, she just wanted to have her abilities, but coming off of Scanners, I was primed for Firestarter. Cool, these motherfuckers got abilities. It's what you can do. And if you've seen the end of Scanners, you know that is a natural progression for getting into watching Firestarter. It's cool. I love Doctor Sleep. I didn't see Doctor Sleep yet, and I wanted to. Sometimes they do Stephen King movies right. Yeah, I got to see Doctor Sleep. I wanted to see it, and I didn't catch it in the theater while I was out, so I have to go back to it and watch it. But that's also, I've never watched The Shining all the way through. I've never watched The Shining all the way through, so I have to do my backloading with watching The Shining and then watching Doctor Sleep. I have used to have nightmares about it. Yeah, it'll fuck you up. Teach you how to float down here. Yeah, I love it. It is my shit. Scared me so much I bought that shit when I grew up just because I needed to have it. So I can say I conquered that shit and I could fuck up my kids when they got old enough to watch it. Yes, I like getting people over their fears. Like, oh, you want to watch a scary movie? Okay, let's watch this. I took them through every movie that scared me back in the day. And that's why they laughed at the Phantasm, because they thought that shit was stupid. And I'm watching it as an adult, like, yeah, this is kind of fucking stupid. These motherfucking little dwarves is bleeding Chipotle sauce and stuff. Silly, really silly. But anyway, that's it. Is it worth a watch? Why the fuck not? I mean, what else you gonna do? Can you wait for it to come out on a streaming service? Yeah, you totally can. You can. You totally can. It's not something you got to rush out to the theaters and see. No, it's not. But if you do want to just go watch a movie that, for one, they ain't been promoting this movie like shit. They worried about the box office. The box office is gonna suck because you didn't promote this motherfucker. Let people know it was coming out this week. I knew because I was looking for it. Like, god damn, where was the promotion at? Where'd you spend the money? Jesus. But if you just want to watch something, you just need a Friday night to go to the movies. Well, you can watch this, or you can take your ass to watch The Bad Guys with some kids. No. Oh, it's on Peacock right now, Beastly. Peacock Aria is that, I think it's the NBC streaming service. I ain't paying for that shit either. Yeah, The Grudge was fucked up. You what, Ray Hama? Watch the original Japanese Grudge. That'll fuck you up. That shit is scary. My ex-wife used to look like that chick. She would do that shit and scared the shit out of my son. Cause she had that long black hair and she's a small little Asian woman. She'll pull that hair over her face. Oh, that shit was not cool. Not cool at all. No, no, no. Don't you ever do that shit in bed at night? What you your goddamn Oh no, that was not cool. Now Dark Tower was favorite, and the creature that killed it was the Dark Tower books. I didn't read the Dark Tower books, or watch that movie, or read the comics. I know the Dark Tower is Stephen King. I never touched it. Just never touched it. Yeah, Ju-on was great. Ju-on was great. That'll fuck you up because that's how Asian people deal with spirits and stuff. You ain't beating the spirit. The spirit is beating your ass. Leave it alone, let it be, and don't cross over into his domain. You might be all right. But if you catch that motherfucker's eye, it's gonna be with your ass like stink on shit. It's not going away until it gets you. It's like, no, you're not beating this. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. I still gotta drive home. I just went to the closest theater, so I'm still in the Rich, my hometown, but I don't live in my hometown, so I gotta get out of town to get home so I can actually get some food, get some sleep, and I just want to go to bed. I'm tired. It's day life. But that's it. Blackfoot asked me for a number out of 5, 1 out of 5, 5 being the best. I give it a 2.5 to a 3. It's an in between. You can watch it, maybe be entertained, or you'll just watch it and say that was fucking stupid and leave the movie and go on and watch something else you like better. I think I'll probably, if I can find it, I'll watch Firestarter when I get home just so I can relive them good feelings, or I'll watch some other shit. Either way. But that's it. I am Artisan MC. Thank you guys for showing up and listening to my little review or review reaction to Firestarter. And do I don't even have the right outro. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I do. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.
I saw, I'm confident, I'm bald. Yeah, I saw, I'm confident, I'm bald.